Сьогодні відбувся саміт НАТО. Слабкий саміт, розгублений саміт. Саміт, на якому видно, що не всі вважають боротьбу за свободу для Європи метою номер один.
President Volodymyr Zelensky has slammed NATO as weak for refusing to enforce a no-fly zone in Ukraine, saying it will be a responsibility for future Ukrainian deaths. Speaking at a public press conference, the Ukrainian president branded a recent NATO summit on the war in Ukraine weak and confused, and evidenced that not everyone considers the struggle for freedom to be Europe's #1 goal. He railed, knowing that new strikes and casualties are inevitable, NATO deliberately decided not to close the sky over Ukraine. Zelensky claimed, "We believe that NATO countries themselves have created a narrative that the closure of the sky over Ukraine ought to provoke Russia's direct aggression against NATO. This is self-hypnosis of those who are weak, underconfident." Well, it's difficult to imagine how NATO could close the sky over Ukraine without directly confronting and destroying Russian airplanes, and likely Russian ground forces tasked with engaging hostile aircraft as well. Anywho, Zelensky accused, "All the people who will die starting from this day will also die because of you, because of your weakness, because of your disunity." The Ukrainian premier further claimed that all the alliance has managed to do so far is to carry 50 tons of diesel fuel for Ukraine through its procurement system, and warned that it would, and I quote, "not be able to buy us off with liters of fuels for liters of our blood." Both NATO Secretary General Jens Stoltenberg and US President Joe Biden's Secretary of State Antony Blinken have been fairly blunt in underlining the point that, contrary to Zelensky's claim, a no-fly zone cannot be imposed without launching an air war against Russia. Stoltenberg, a former Prime Minister of Norway, explained at a Friday press conference that the only way to implement a no-fly zone is to send NATO planes, fighter planes, into Ukrainian airspace, and then impose that no-fly zone by shooting down Russian planes, which, and I quote, "could end in a full-fledged war in Europe involving many more countries and causing much more human suffering." Blinken echoed at a separate press conference in the European Union capital of Brussels the same day, "The only way to actually implement something like a no-fly zone is to send NATO planes into Ukrainian airspace and to shoot down Russian planes, and that could lead to a full-fledged war in Europe. President Biden has been clear that we are not going to get into a war with Russia." Well, we'd like to know your thoughts and responses. Share them in the comments down below, and also share this news and support us through subscribing to our channel. Stay tuned for the real stuff on Next News Hour.